Welcome back, students. I am your SST teacher Vandana Joshi and you are watching SST June. Students, in our previous chapters, we have studied about many dynasties from starting of the Muslim dynasties, and we have also studied about the formation and decline of many dynasties. Even in chapter 4, we have studied about Mughal dynasties. Later, we have studied about the medieval period, in which we have studied the architecture of during that dynasty and the art, dance, and other forms. We have also studied about many types of beliefs during that time. We have studied about many devotional movement as Bhakti and the Sufi movement. Students, we know about the different type of culture and the religions during that time. So today we are going to study about another new chapter after in the same series in the medieval history, which started from the 17th century till the 19th century. It is the middle part of these two centuries, and our today's chapter name is 18th century political formation. So student, that was the period when the Britishers came in our country for their trade and for their businesses. So what happened during that time, how the Mughal Empire was declined, and which were the new power emerged during that time, that we are going to study in our today's chapter 18th century political formation. So now let's see what are the topics about which we will discuss today. Students, our today's topics are: first topic is the crisis of the empire and the later Mughal. The later Mughals are those came after Aurangzeb, means the successor of Aurangzeb, and the rulers those came after that, they were known as the later Mughal. We will study about them in this topic. Then after that, emergence of new states. Students, during the decline of the Mughal Empire, many states were emerged, about which we are going to study in that topic. And then after that, our today's next topic will be the old Mughal provinces, in which we will study about three provinces which were declared later as the independent, in which we will study about Hyderabad, Avadh and Bengal. So these were the provinces which were later independent from the Mughal Empire. So we will study about these three provinces. So let's start our today's chapter with our first topic, the crisis of the empire and the later Mughal. Students, as in this topic, you can also see in your book page number 138 and page number 139, in which you can see two types of maps are being given. That one is of 1700. It is the external boundary of the Mughal Empire, and in the second map, it is of the territories under British control mid 18th century. So these two maps we are going to study in this chapter, and also you can see in this page number, okay, at the starting of the book. So and also we will study a whole journey from the map number 1 to the map number 2. So students, let's start what we are going to study in that. The chapter is about the decline of the Mughal and the emergence of the new power and the provinces, as the British power and many more powers were there. The Mughal Empire held away over a large part of India for nearly 3 centuries, means for more than 300 years they ruled over our country, and they ruled very well. But after the later Mughal, there was a drastic change in the Mughal Empire. How? Let's see. So, after the 3 centuries, there was a drastic decline in its power and prestige, which came about by the first half of the 18th century. It was an eventful period in the Indian history, because it was the time of a glorious history of a great empire which was known as the Mughal Empire and a starting of many new regions as Sikh, Jat, Marathas, and many more. At the end, the succession was done by the Britisher for more years. So, let's see what happened after that. After the Aurangzeb, or we can say after the kingdom of Shah Jahan, the map of the Indian subcontinent was reshaping. The forces of disintegration had set in during the reigns of Aurangzeb. Means as the Aurangzeb was a little brutal king, so there was many people those don't want to work under Aurangzeb. So a kind of disintegration was raised over there. So during the time of Aurangzeb, the decline of Mughal Empire was started, and after his death, the mighty Mughal Empire that was declined rapidly till the Third Battle of Panipat in 1761. After the death of Aurangzeb, his eldest son Bahadur Shah first ascended the throne in 1707 to 1712. He maintained good relation with the Rajput, as during the time of Aurangzeb the relation with the Rajputs of Mughals were totally finished. So Bahadur Shah again started the relations with the Rajputs as it was done by Akbar. He has done a good relation with the Rajputs, Jat and the Sikh. After him, his son Jahandar Shah sat on the throne. He ruled for few months only. He proved to be a puppet in hands of Zulfikar Khan. He was a powerful noble of the court of Jahandar Shah. The next ruler was Farrukhsiyar. He was placed on the throne by the Sayyid brother. Those were known as the Kingmakers. As the whole sole power was in the hand of the Sayyid brothers, so they did lots of changes during the Mughal Empire. So when they seen that Farrukhsiyar is not in their hand and he want to do the work independently, they decided to remove him from the throne. And then after that, in 1719, they removed Farrukhsiyar from the throne and made Muhammad Shah Rangila the new ruler. These all rulers were known as the later Mughals, as they were not powerful as compared to the earlier Mughals, so the state was going to be a drastic decline. When Muhammad Shah Rangila came, he ruled a very long duration. He ruled from 1719 to 1747. During his long reign, a number of regional kingdoms, including Hyderabad and Avadh, became independent from the Mughal Empire. But the most significant event that took place during his reign was the invasion of Nadeesha and Ahmadshah Abdali. Nadeesha was one of the greatest but a crucial or the brutal ruler of Persia. He invaded India in 1739 and done a lots of plunder in Delhi. Means he looted the Delhi and there he defeated Mughals and carried with him the gold, jewelry, gems and the large amount of money which was stored by the Mughals in their treasury. we can see the role of Nadeesha in our history. He has changed a lot of things in his history just done by few plunders in our country. He has plundered 5 times in our country. He also took away the famous Kohinoor diamond with him and the peacock throne, which is also known as the Mayur Sinhasan. Ahmadshah was a general of Nadeesha. He was also a powerful general of Nadeesha. After the death of Nadeesha, he became the ruler of Afghanistan. He invaded India 5 times from 1748 to 1761. The Mughal could never recover from the after effect of these two invasions. So after being weak, the Mughal empire was divided into several parts, and that was also a main reason of decline of the Mughal empire. After the plunders and the invasions of Ahmadshah Abdali, the Mughal empire was divided into two parts. These two parts were the Iranis, which were the nobles, and the Turanis. And it was the time of emergence of new state in the Mughal empire. So how the new states were emerged, let's see. Students, during the time of the Mughal empire, there were 3 states which were known as a powerful states or the provinces of the Mughal empire. These were Hyderabad, Avadh and Bengal. Now they divided into independent provinces apart from the Mughal empire. Not only these 3 provinces, other Sikh, Marathas and Jats also emerged as their new states separated from the Mughal empire. Then after that, in the 18th century, when the Mughals started to succession in the Indian parts, so they also separated from the Mughal empire as they become Diwan, and then after that they covered the whole sole power of the Mughal empire. So let's see which were the provinces which emerged as the new independent kingdom under the topic the old Mughal provinces. So students, as already I told you, Awadh, Hyderabad and Bengal. These all 3 dynasties declared themselves as the independent. So now we will see one by one about these 3 dynasties. First, let's see about the Hyderabad. Chinchlish Khan, who was famous as the Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jahan, was the founder of Hyderabad. Earlier, he was the powerful noble at the court of the Mughal Emperor Farrukhsiyar. He was appointed as the governor of the Deccan provinces. There, according to this, he was the first Nizam of Hyderabad. Students, here one thing you have to note that the rulers, those successors in Hyderabad, they were known as Nizam, and those were the ruler of Awadh, they were known as the Nawab. Here he was the first Nizam of Hyderabad. In 1722, he became the Wazir of the empire and tried to reform the administration. Means the administration which was done earlier by the Mughals, he reformed that administration in his ways. He was a diplomatic ruler and he appointed Mansabdar and granted the Jagirs. Means the system or administration which was started by Akbar, but later it was stopped by many Mughal rulers. Again he adopted that culture, and through that he started to control over the Hyderabad and also the Deccan provinces. So here, as I told you, he appointed the Mansabdars and granted them Jagirs. He was a Mughal servant, but he ruled independently in Hyderabad. Means whatever the rule he did, whatever the administration, the rules and regulation he started in Hyderabad, it was his own rules and regulation, not from the Mughal Empire. He was a powerful ruler, so he crushed all the rebellions in Hyderabad and the state flourished under his administration. His successors were known as Nizams of Hyderabad. Under the rule of these Nizams, Hyderabad flourished in culture and economy. So, the things which were started by the first Nizam of Hyderabad, these were in the later periods were continuous, and due to that Hyderabad was a economically strong state. Now let's see about Avadh and Bengal. So students, now let's see about the Avadh dynasty. Burhanul Malik Sadat Khan was appointed as the governor of Avadh in 1722. He was the first among the rulers who are known in history as the Nawabs of Avadh. Students, as already I told you, the rulers of Hyderabad were known as Nizams and the rulers of Avadh known as the Nawabs. The Jamindars of Avadh often refused to pay taxes on time. Sadat Khan suppressed the rebellious Jamindars and also reformed the revenue system. He also founded the city of Faizabad near Ayodhya in Uttar Pradesh. He was succeeded by his nephew and son-in-law Safdarjung in 1739. He played an important role in the politics of the country. He and his successor virtually ruled Awadh as independent ruler. They introduced many administrative reforms, raised a strong army, and improved the economic condition of Awadh. They made Lucknow as their capital. It was a major center of art and the culture. Student, here Awadh is the area basically which is situated in Uttar Pradesh. A new form of architecture based on the Mughal style developed. The finest example is the Bara Imambara at Lucknow. Two Imambaras are there. One is Chota Imambara, one is the Bada Imambara. The rulers of Awadh were famous for their good administration. Because Burhanul Malik, he ruled independently in Awadh, so he did a lots of work to reduce the power of Mughals in Awadh, in which he reduced the numbers of office holders as the Jagirdars, which were appointed by the Mughals. He also reduced the size of Jagirs and appointed his own loyal servant to vacant position. So his policy was totally clear that he wanted to own the whole Awadh by his own. So now let's see about a little Bengal. Bengal emerged as an important semi-independent kingdom in the 18th century. Murshid Quli Khan was the governor of Bengal under the Mughals. Taking advantage of the weaknesses of the Mughal Empire, he shifted his capital from Deccan to Murshidabad. His successors who ruled Bengals were Sirajuddin, Alivardi Khan and Sirajuddaulah. The state prospered under these rulers. They were known for their powerful administration. Even student, you have listened about the Sirajuddaulah during the British period. In your upcoming classes also you will study about him. They removed the corrupt and insufficient Jagirdars. Trade and industry were also encouraged under their reasons. So students, as many times if you will study in history, the prosperity of Bengal was very rich during these times. and even after the arrival of Britishers as well. So here we can say out of these three, Bengal was more rich and prosperous as compared to the Avadh and Hyderabad. Students, here today's topic is complete. Here I'm providing you few questions from today's video. You can give answers of these questions in the comment box. We will study more about this chapter in our next video. So for that, keep watching SST June. So students, here's your first question, that is, who was the first Nizam of Hyderabad? Your second question is, who was the first Nawab of Awadh? And your today's third question is, who were the Sayyid brothers? Students, you can give your answer in the comment box.